Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and this is Thursday. It's January the 16th. This will be our chart lesson for today. And I love these kind of days. I know that a lot of inexperienced traders, these kind of days, just chop them all to pieces. But we got a real clear um, range here, high, real clear low with a failed break lower. I mean, these days are just very predictable, and I like them a lot. And so there's not going to be a whole lot to say about it. You can generally find your trends or your channels um, within the range as well if there's enough. It's about a 5 point range, but you can see that clear channel coming down there. I didn't have the lower side. Clear channel going up, clear channel coming back down. These days are generally pretty predictable. Um, Just to show you early on, there was a little trend coming down there. We got the break, the new low, then it reversed. And this was looking really rangy anyway. Look at all the overlap, and you tried to go lower there. I will say this too, there's one leg down, and then there's a two-legged correction in the middle here, a bigger one. One leg up, pull back, second leg up, and then a measured move down similar to this over here. I think it was a tick or two short, but it's there, and it's a little harder to see, but it's there. That kind of stuff is usually there, and generally that's where your other measured leg is after the two legs of correction. So, but let's talk about the trades. It's not going to be very long today. I've got another prior engagement I got to be at tonight, and so I'm going to move through this one pretty quickly. Again, it's real predictable. I know that inexperienced traders struggle on days like this, but the first clue that it's a trading range is look how prices are flipping to both sides of the EMA all day long. And you got the clear highs. The highs were real easy to see. The lows a little harder because we had the failed break lower, but there was a downward bias to the day because we traded down into this. But you did get your measured leg down for the most part, and then we moved up. And but let's talk about the trades. This was the first long I saw a little after 7 o'clock this morning. Again, we had this little channel coming down. We had the break. We had two legs down to a new low. I didn't like going on the first entry, but when we turned down and failed and turned back up and went out that bar on the same bar, just put a stop right there. It got a little bit nervous when this bar formed right here, but you got to have your stop down here to trade that. And it continued on up, and where does it turn down? Right here after it reaches the high up here. And now you got a double top in what was kind of a downward bias here, but it does look rangy, and it turns straight down. Just put your stop. Look at that big reversal bar. Just put a stop right there. Easy, quick scalp. I would have exited any runners right here at the low, right where you expect it's going to bounce. And guess what? You got a new high here. You pull back. You got your first entry. Then you try to go lower. It fails. There's a little trap right there. It turns up. Just put a stop there on that second entry. Maybe use a limit order. It did come back over here. So, but I liked entering here on that second entry long. The little trap, the little one or two tick lower there. But if you didn't enter there, you got a chance to go long right here. And this one broke lower first turn and went right out the high side. Just put a stop there, boom, and this is where you exit. Any runners, just exit them right here, because the odds are, even if it breaks through, it's going to pull back. So that's where I would want to exit. And then you come down here. You really didn't get a break outside until here, and it tries to go higher. And notice that new high. So you pull back first entry, pull back second entry. So up here where you'd expect to find resistance, you get a failed second entry long. Just put a stop right there if it turns down, and sure enough it does. Easy scalp, no runners though. I was tempted to go short right here, and you could have, but there's just so much overlap right there. And this, look how flat the EMA, it looks kind of like this over here. It's kind of no man's land. So I didn't feel comfortable adding on anything there. There's not a very good setup here. You didn't get that little tick higher. So, aggressive guy probably would have considered going short here because there's room to get out before you get here, but there's not room right there, and it could turn down and bounce right there because you're kind of hung up in here. So I just didn't like anything right there. I thought it was too risky. There's not a good enough setup. There's not a big reversal bar. Yeah, there's a red bar there, but it's got stems on each side. Then you got this bar mixed in. It's just not a really good setup. Um, and you definitely don't want to be going short anywhere down here because you're expecting this is going to fail in reverse, which it does right here. And that's really a second entry long. Notice that you're coming down. First entry, you got this little congestion, so you can't go long right there, but you're looking for a long down here, really. Not any kind of shorts, but I guarantee you a lot of you're too far away from the EMA. It's a failed break lower. I'm looking to get long down here, and you finally got a chance right there. Look at it go. Easy scalp, pulls back. Any runners would have been safe here if you didn't exit them. And then if you did exit, I would add on here. And if you weren't in yet, I'd go long right here because now notice you got this new low, first entry, pull back, second entry short right there when it ticked lower. It fails, it turns up. Look at that reversal bar. Draw your trend line up through there. Then it fits on the top, and when it touches up here, that's where I'd look to exit. Any runners, you would have maybe thought about adding on here if you would have got another little trap, but you didn't, and there's all those bars stacked up. I think it's too risky. But now you got a new high, pull back, first entry, pull back, second entry. Not only, it's the first break of this little channel, but the main thing is it came back and tested the lower side of the range again, and it held. So just go long right there on that second entry. Maybe use a limit order on that one because it didn't close exactly on its high. And off it goes again. I didn't like going long here because we didn't break above that bar without making that doji. Now you got too many bars stacked up. It's kind of in that middle area again, kind of no man's land. So just better to skip that one. And then I like this one for a short, even though it's a first entry up here. It's really a second entry counting off that new low there. First entry, pull back, second entry. So it's a form of a second entry, but it's a trap. Notice it ticked higher first, and then it turned down and breaks out the low side. Just put a stop right there. Easy scalp. And then the rest of this is just the volume dried up, nothing much happening. Look how flat that EMA is. It's late in the afternoon. This is all no man's land. Just stay out of it. But you can see the little channel still worked. We worked our way down, got a break, made a new low, and we're kind of getting back in the range again. But now we're into the next trading day, so we'll just have to see. But that's what I saw today. Again, I love these kind of days. They're just so predictable. But if you're not familiar with them and you're not used to them and you don't trust the price action, they're pretty tough days because what happens is people can start getting short down in here, and then it goes the other way, and they start getting long up in here. But you got to do just the opposite, and you got to suck it up and tell yourself, hey, I can't do what common sense tells me to do. I got to do what the price action rules tell me to do. And sometimes that's hard, but that's the key to getting past the mental blocks of trading is your mind being stronger than your impulses. And you've probably heard me say it. It's like losing weight or trying to stop smoking. Your mind has to be stronger than your impulses. And if you have trouble with those, you're probably going to have trouble, keeping your mind strong enough to do the right thing trading too. Doesn't mean you can't learn to do it, but you're probably going to have to work harder at it than somebody that can easily lose weight or easily stop smoking or start smoking or whatever. So, but anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. No sense in dragging this one out today. Nice trading range, real obvious. Hopefully you realized it. There's easy to spot ranges in between as well. And the rules followed the rules on all of them. So pretty typical day. Again, I like these kind of days. You don't make as much money on your runners and things like that, but you still got some nice runners today. Just exited on each side of this thing. Even though you would have exited early here coming down if you were to get in this trade, you're better to exit here because rarely it's going to do like that. Most of the time it's going to come down and bounce like it did the other times here. And so you're better off just to exit and take what it'll give you and look for a new entry. So, but I'm going to wrap it up. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.